as well on UFC 4. It's always fun to bet on stuff like that. Can't wait for Max to TKO Fraud Topuria. Thank you for the $2. It could happen, but I mean, listen, guys, I think the Holloway fanboys, I'm just going to say it right now. The reason why Holloway versus Topuria will shock people is in the title of this live stream is because I think that a lot of people expect Holloway to go out there and dog walk Ilia Topuria, or, you know, they think that Topuria got lucky against Volk and that this should be a very winnable fight for Holloway. I actually think Holloway is, in my opinion, fighting an uphill battle. I mean, I actually do not expect Holloway to win. I think that Topuria is the right pick. I think that the Topuria is the guy that will be more dominant. If I think Holloway wins, it's going to be like a kind of a scraping by decision. I don't even know how he wins, to be honest. I think Topuria cleans him up. I think Holloway could win. I don't think he's going to dominate Topuria. I don't think it's in Holloway's arsenal to dominate a guy like Topuria. I've been watching Holloway fight. I'm sorry, but Topuria is going to be a nightmare for him. And the Holloway fans, a lot of them are delusional and saying Holloway by any way he wants. Maybe a part of that is just hyping him up because they don't like Topuria, so they're trying to get people to bite on the bait. So maybe it could just be bait for comment sections. Holloway by whatever he wants. Topuria is a bum. And I see Topuria fans now doubling down or trying to give the same energy by saying Topuria by any way he wants, right? So, but I think that Holloway's up against a nightmare matchup in Ilia Topuria. Casual take? It's not a casual take. It's not a casual take. I'll explain to you one of the reasons why I believe Holloway's going to struggle so much, and I'll talk about it if I make a video on this. But one of the reasons why Holloway is going to struggle so much against Ilia Topuria is because Max Holloway, one of the ways in which he gets his game going is by landing body shots, landing jabs to the body, right hands to the body. He's a very active body shotter when it comes to boxing. He's always piecing up the body. That's what he's doing in the beginning of his fights to set up other strikes. And it's just going to be a nightmare to be able to hit Ilia Topuria, who's hunched over, who's 5'7", who has a low stance. Holloway will not be able to have a lot of success going to the body, because if he does that, the overhand is right there. The right hand is right there for Ilia Topuria. Against a guy like Justin Gaethje who stands upright, Gaethje's literally like this. Against someone like Gaethje, it's easy to go to the body. And Holloway, watch the first round of that fight. He's probably landing over 10 strikes to the body of Justin Gaethje just from the hands alone. It's going to be really difficult for Holloway to get his game going. So that's a ton of output that Holloway utilizes to win fights that he will not be able to land that much successfully against Topuria. Like, he just will not have a lot of success with it. So once again, you look at Holloway's fights against shorter opponents, Frankie Edgar. One of the reasons why Holloway isn't landing a ton of volume on Frankie Edgar like he did against Brian Ortega is because Frankie Edgar is one of these short guys that stands low. That's why. Can't go to the body as easily. And punching down is not as comfortable for Max Holloway. So I think he's honestly going to have to come up with like a really perfect game plan, maybe a heavy kicking game plan, but he's not going to be able to out-grapple Topuria. I mean, the way he wins is by like spinning, back kicking him in the nose, something like that, maybe an uppercut. But if he doesn't KO him, I think Topuria is going to beat the shit out of him just with combinations. And Holloway will leave his head, and he'll leave his head back on a center line sometimes too. Holloway is fighting differently, though, and has pop now. Holloway does have pop, and he is fighting better these days, but watching the Justin Gaethje fight reminds me how shit Justin Gaethje is compared to people like Ilia Topuria and Volkanovski. Justin Gaethje, I honestly don't understand how he was able to get to such a high level the way that he's fighting. Like, I understand against Poirier, he was slipping some punches, and that's what was impressive. Gaethje slipped a couple of punches and landed a head kick. But when you actually see him fight someone that's just super technical and that's not Rafael Fiziev, just emptying the gas tank in the first round, spamming body kicks and you know, trying to finish someone out of the gate, he kind of exposes himself as sloppy and one-dimensional. Gaethje is a guy that goes, you know, he throws big hooks and then he's out and he fucking runs past people. He's predictable with his dipping of his head. I don't know. Gaethje doesn't look that good. Ilia Topuria is like 10 levels above him. Way better. Way better. Gaethje's off balance half the time. Half the strikes he throws, he's off balance after he throws them. And half the strikes he throws are predictable. It's going to be a leg kick or it's going to be big winging hooks, right? You fail to account for the dog inside Max. No, I understand that Max Holloway's tough. Like, listen, I don't think that Ilia is going to dog walk him. I just think that Ilia is going to beat him up. You say something like Ilia beats Holloway up, people are like, dude, what are you saying? But it's a fight. Ilia is going to land damaging shots. He has some of the most power ever in the featherweight division. I think he's going to be able to damage Holloway like Volk did in the trilogy and maybe even put him away. I think Holloway's going to have a offensive performance like he did against Frankie Edgar. It's just that this time Frankie Edgar is going to be hitting him back. This time Frankie Edgar can defend himself. All right? Aldo's 5'7", Ilia's 5'7". What did Max do to Aldo again? Aldo stands higher than Ilia. Ilia has a bladed stance, and he's in here. And he's literally burying his chin behind his neck. Aldo's out here. Aldo's bouncing around like this with his chin on a silver platter. It's a little bit different. And Aldo doesn't have the same gas tank. And Aldo, listen, I love Aldo. You guys know it. He's one of my favorite fighters, but he's not at the same level as Ilia Topuria. He doesn't have the offensive threat of the takedown. So, yeah. Max is a pressure guy. He won't be when Ilia hits him. I mean, yeah. I think that's also the case. I think Max Holloway, who is a pressure guy, he can fight on the back foot a little bit. But, yeah, he is a pressure guy. I don't think he's going to be moving forward on Ilia that much, especially when Ilia lands big shots on him. Listen, all I'm saying is that Max Holloway is going to struggle with the stylistic matchup. He can't land body shots as successfully as he does against his usual taller opponent. It's going to be impossible to consistently land jabs to the body, right hands to the body on Ilia Topuria like it is against Justin Gaethje. Okay? Fight Fairy reveals that she started watching after $2.99. Fight Fairy reveals that she started watching after $2.99. That's pretty funny. That's actually pretty funny. Holloway is fighting differently, though. He has pop. Now, thank you for the $2, the Fam God, and thank you for the $2, cool guy. Is Holloway Topuria official? It isn't official. I don't know what the holdup is, but I do not think that it's because Topuria is ducking Max. Okay, how many people in the chat? I'm looking at the live chat right now. How many people in the chat believe that Ilia Topuria is ducking Max? Like, that he's running away from the fight? Before I give my take on it. Because I think that Ilia Topuria is just trying to piss Max off. I think he's just trying to piss him off. I think he's playing the heel. I think he's pretending to be this annoying guy. Yeah, okay, a lot of people are saying he isn't ducking Max. Most people are saying he's not ducking. I don't think he's ducking. I think that Ilia plays a retard online. I think he plays dumb. And he tries to be this annoying brat. But I think he does that just to get under people's skin and to make it so people underestimate him. Topuria is not ducking anybody. If you think that, you're just fanboy. That's what I'm saying. Like, where's the proof that Topuria is ducking Max? Where's the proof? He is a bit annoying. I understand that. But I think he plays into that. I think he purposely tries to be. By saying things like, you know, Holloway doesn't want the fight or whatever. Like, he's just bullshitting for the purpose of being annoying. So that Holloway can, I don't know, not take him seriously.